It's gonna be this way.
Swim so free.
A Capitol Hill to
Soccer popper.
Oh, yes. That's what I have to say. That is my favorite theme song from all of 80s TV.
It's very catchy.
Hands down.
Very catchy song.
Hands down. What's up, everybody? This is another episode of Tune In Next Week. This is episode number...
I believe 7.
7?
I believe 7, yes.
My good... We are just trucking along, man. We got episodes coming out the yin-yang.
Yeah. Out the butt also.
So apparently the butt and the yin-yang are two different things. So comment on what you think the difference between the butt and the yin-yang are.
In my mind, they're different.
We will never know what's going on in your mind.
You won't.
That's probably a good thing. Anyway, we are, if you couldn't guess from that super funkalicious intro there, we are doing Night Court.
Night Courts, the 1980s TV show of the courtroom that is run at night.
I'm so glad you explained it to me because I had no idea what Night Court was about, and now I know.
Well, hey, listen, you get a traffic ticket, you get a moving violation,
you go
or
to Night Court.
Small felony or something like that. You can't always go during the day.
That's right.
So they have Night Court to meet all of your what is it, judicial needs?
Yeah, but now can I get that theme song to play when I walk into the courtroom?
It plays in my mind every time.
Me too.
I go to court.
Bing, bing. Yeah. So yeah, we're just super thrilled to watch that. And so this was so we watched an episode of Night Court, season 5, episode 3. The name of the episode was Death of a Bailiff, written by
Bob Underwood.
Directed by?
This was directed by Jeff Melman.
Now, who is Jeff Melman?
Jeff Melman is a very storied TV director who has directed other shows of note, such as an episode of Modern Family. He directed an episode of 2.5 Men. He's got a ton of credits. He also directed one of my favorite shows, Community, Remedial Chaos Theory. He's got stuff that's currently out now. What's he got going on? Oh, he directed an episode of Frasier.
You see, really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
He's had quite a career then, because I mean this episode of Night Court aired on October 15th of 1987. Mm-hmm. So and we're at we're almost the end of December 2015. So I mean we're talking what almost probably more than 30 years.
Yeah, this guy's been in the game for a long time.
Incredible. Very, very cool.
This particular episode that we're talking about tonight, or today rather, is Night Court, Death of a Bailiff. Came out October 15th, 1987.
I just said that.
Did you really?
I did. Were you here when I said that?
I was here, but my mind... I was here, but my mind wasn't here. We gotta...
I think your mind was in Night Court.
My mind was in Night Court.
Okay. Well,
thank goodness for editing.
Yeah, well, we may just leave that in there because it's funny.
Yeah.
Quick plot synopsis here. After being struck by lightning, Bull, who's one of the bailiffs, gives away all of his worldly possessions, thinking that God had spoken to him. And meanwhile, Mac, who's one of the... I guess he's like the court reporter. He works on curing his technophobia by getting friendly with the computer. Now, I thought this episode would be fun to watch because of the fact that, we kind of see computers introduced, into the workplace or become, the sort of a main subject of the show. And computers are very vital to our lives these days. I mean, we are recording this podcast on a computer. We, we both work in the computer industry, so it's kind of thought it was a nod to really one of the core pieces of technology that's out there these days.
Yeah, the whole setup and how it was handled. You have the technophobia, and then you've got Harry who's embracing it and like, yes, forward on.
That's like your early adopter.
Yeah. That's don't be afraid of it. This is where we're going.
Right.
Let's do it together.
Right, absolutely. And if you want to get your hands on Night Court, thankfully, last week they became available on iTunes. That was thrilling to me because that's where I prefer to get all my content. Now you can get all the I believe it's 9 seasons of Night Court. I think it went for 9 seasons.
Yeah.
But you can get all 9 seasons on iTunes now. You can get DVDs on Netflix. They don't have it for streaming. You can buy the DVDs on Amazon, or you can actually stream the episodes for free with ads on Amazon Video.
Amazon Prime.
That's right. It's definitely out there to watch. So definitely check this episode out. It's really great. It's just a great series. So I'm looking forward to doing some more from Night Court in the future.
Mm-hmm. The humor in this was it kind of vacillated back and forth between sarcastic kind of biting humor and the over the top zany goofy stuff. There's a lot of sight gags in there, and we were talking about that a little earlier. I love the especially the character Dan Fielding, one of the lawyers.
Yes.
And in the show, he's very smug, arrogant, smarmy, sarcastic jokes and humor, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And this also has the goofy, over the top, zany gags that you enjoy.
Yeah, I love good punny humor sometimes, and Harry Anderson's character, or Judge Harold T. Stone, I have to say, I think he's just brilliantly funny. But I also love the little quips from the other bailiff, Roz. Mm-hmm. She's so funny. But let's jump right into this, man, because this was such a fun episode to watch.
Yeah.
And I one of the first note that I have is it was a dark and stormy night.
Yeah. Cold open to the courtroom, thunderclaps. Then you have one of the other. She was a lawyer, right? Christine.
Yeah. Marky Post.
Right. The actress is Marky Post. The character Christine Sullivan is another lawyer. Her commenting to Dan Fielding about how stormy it is and how she enjoys dark and stormy nights.
And you can tell, even just by looking at Dan Fielding, that all he wants to do is be boning her on a dark and stormy night.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I love dark and stormy nights. Thunderstorms are great. They're awesome. They're awe-inspiring. And he makes some comment about, you think that's all inspiring. You should see me in my fishnets.
And then he pulls out a pair of panties.
Red panties. Not fishnets, but panties.
I thought fishnets were stockings.
I know fishnets to be stockings.
Yeah.
That's how yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just some things in this episode were just like, what?
You just gotta wonder what they were thinking.
Yeah. I gotta ask you, do you think that Harry Anderson just looks a little too young to be a judge?
Yes, absolutely.
So I did a little bit of math during the episode here. Harry Anderson was born in 1952, mm-hmm. which means that on the air date that this episode came out, he was 35. Now, I feel like, don't judges have to be... I mean, aren't most judges in their 40s or 45 and whatnot?
I don't believe there's a limit to how old you have to be. Aren't judges appointed?
I believe they're appointed, but also don't they have to serve in a court of law, like as a lawyer or something, or like as district attorney or something? Don't they have to? Isn't there a period of servitude that has to happen before they can become a judge? And I feel like college graduate, then they have to go to law school for whatever that is, 8 years. Mm-hmm. Then they have to take the bar. Then they have to work in as a partner in a law firm and whatnot. I mean, this is obviously, the education to be a lawyer is a career in and of itself. I feel like becoming a judge is like the very top of that. And you don't, I mean, it's like people who become president.
Right.
You don't, I mean, aside from JFK, you don't see people in their 30s becoming president. Guys are in their mid 40s, early 50s or more.
Well, to be president of the United States, you can't be younger than 35. That's one of the stipulations.
I know that.
You don't necessarily have to have served in public office either. Donald Trump being the example of running for president. And
let me just set this straight, that our podcast neither supports nor
disavows
any particular political affiliation or party or anything like that.
My ignorance on how judges are appointed aside, I do agree that Harry is a little young. It seems to be a little young to be practicing law.
Yeah, I mean, and the actor himself, he was 35 when he shot this.
But he looked like he was in his 20s. Yeah.
I mean, I would have easily maybe done a little makeup. I mean, like they made up Estelle Getty to look much older than she was on the Golden Girls, but why couldn't they have made him up to look a little older, or possibly just have a different actor that can still be just as zany, but maybe be a little bit older and a little more convincing?
There's a theory that I've heard of and I'm into, where the actor that plays Harry T. Stone on Night Court is the same actor whose name is also Harry, that is the magician con man in Cheers, the show Cheers. So the theory is that he's either conned his way into becoming a judge in New York, or that he's a legitimate judge in New York and spends his spare time harassing the patrons at the bar Cheers in Boston.
That is definitely a very interesting theory for sure.
Mm-hmm. I like how you can play both sides.
Yeah,
it's the con man or.
And like you said earlier, a lot of these shows like Cheers and Night Court were going on around the same time, so it's plausible.
Yes,
it's very plausible. Cool. So now we see Mac enter the courtroom, and Mac clearly does not like this new computer in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And he's hesitant to touch the thing, and he wants nothing to do with it. He is the technophile. He's the technophobe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's set up already. It's just it's by set up I mean it's sitting on his desk. It just hasn't been connected to power or to a network yet.
And that I have something for that in a couple of lines down, but basically I just have that he completely just hates this thing and wants nothing to do with it. He wants his pencils and file cabinets and whatnot. And then you see one of the technicians or the janitor running this cable into the courtroom through the doorway, and goes under the table, and he's like radioing to Bull on the other end of the walkie here.
Bull the bailiff.
Bull the bailiff, right. Now, what I want to know is, what could you possibly be connecting to a computer that would be mounted directly on the roof? Because computers don't talk to antennas.
No.
Computers don't talk to lightning rods.
No.
What possible purpose would that serve, hooking a computer directly up to something on the roof?
My thought was, well, first off, is the guy running this cable, bumbling idiot.
Complete bumbling idiot.
Name is Art. Is he a regular character in the show?
I think he is. I think he may be. I'm not sure.
All right, because everybody was talking to him like they were familiar with him, but I've never seen this guy before. So just to be clear, I've only seen probably a handful of episodes. I haven't seen very many episodes at all.
I'd say the same. I mean, I've watched maybe a couple dozen episodes.
Yeah, a couple dozen.
Maybe 2-3 dozen.
Far more than I've seen.
Yeah,
far more than I've seen.
I wouldn't call myself a super fan, but let's just say this. I mean, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to binge watching.
Yeah. I've seen enough episodes to be familiar with the core cast of characters.
Right.
The judge, the lawyers, and definitely Bull the bailiff. Mark Robinson, not too familiar with him, just based off of my experience. But anyway, this bumbling idiot Art is running cable for the computer. The only reason I can think of that they need to take it to the roof is that they are, a la Frankenstein, powering these computers by the weather.
That, or I was thinking maybe satellite internet, and maybe they had a satellite dish on the roof.
Was satellite internet a thing? I don't think it was.
I have a thing. I have something about the whole internet thing.
Okay.
A little bit further down, but I'm thinking maybe he was connecting it to a satellite dish in some way.
All right.
But that's my guess.
Yeah, so they're making jokes at Art's expense because Art is an easy target. he's trying to pull the cable, which looks all frayed at one end. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's under the table. Harry goes under the table, and then
And he's like, I want to start my courtroom session now.
Yeah. Christine goes under the table, and then he's like, you know what? I should take the stairs, because why am I running it all through the courtroom when I can just pull it up the stairs? So there's like a slapstick gag where he radios Bull, and Bull reels him back in. He flies through the door.
No, he hits his head on the table first.
Well, he hits his head on the table when he first gets under there, and then everybody comes under. But yeah, he's pulled out of off camera.
Yeah, and then you see Mac and Harry are in the corner, and Harry's trying to get Mac to be comfortable touching the computer, and Mac goes and pushes a button. As soon as he pushes just a single key on the keyboard, all the lights go down, and it almost sounds like someone's getting hit with the electric chair, you know. And then Mac is like, "All right, no, I'm done. I'm never touching this again." And Harry's coaxing him and saying, "Hey, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll do this together. It's going to be fine." And the two of them go back, and then, you know, they hit a button on the computer, and everything is all friendly and all nice. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, Art comes running back into the courtroom with this panicked look on his face, and Judge is like, "You know what? Come on, man. I got to get my session started here. We got cases to try. We got things that we got to do here."
He hits him with the gavel.
Does he hit him? I didn't see him hit him.
He hits him. Well, hits him. He's wearing a New York Yankees cap.
Okay.
And he's like, "I'm the judge, and this is my bench, and this is my gavel," and smacks him in the brim of his hat with the gavel.
Nice.
He's like, "And if you have anything important to say to me, make sure it's so important that it's worth 5 days in jail for interrupting me."
Oh yeah, because he was going to throw him in contempt of court or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Art goes, "Oh yeah, Bull just got hit by lightning."
And there's silence, and everybody's looking around like, "Oh my God, Bull's fucking dead."
Yeah, and then the theme song comes in.
While I butcher that.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah.
Anyway, so now we're back after the theme song. Everyone is just in disbelief and saying, "Oh my God, Bull is Bull got electrocuted. Where is he?" And they say, "Oh, he's in your chambers with the doctor." And it just so happened to be convenient that a doctor was just there.
Yeah, that was. But the way they made it sounded like, oh, the courtroom doctor, like it was a regular thing, like the doctor was here just on staff, and thankfully he was here for Bull getting hit by lightning,
waiting for Bull to get
yeah. But they go into the judge's chambers, the doctor's there, and Bull is literally smoking. There is smoke coming off of his body, which really funny. But I'm like wondering how they did it. Like, did they put dry ice in his pockets?
I was just gonna say probably dry ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way it rises up, I don't know. Maybe they have like smoke pellet.
Maybe it was something they put some powder or something on his costume and poured water on it.
Oh yeah.
Because maybe something that reacted to water caused smoke to come out. Because I know that like smoke machines use something like that. Mm-hmm.
It was. Well, I mean, I own a couple of smoke machines, and they take like this liquid, you put it in there, and you turn it on, it just vibrates and ejects smoke.
Nice.
Maybe I don't know, but I'd be interested to find out how they did that. But it was cool.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. It was a cool effect. So, so he's laying on the couch smoking, and I mean, I got a note that I wrote here. A person being struck by lightning would be totally dead.
Yeah.
I mean, unless...
Well, I mean, there have been reports of people surviving lightning strikes.
Right, but aren't they severely incapacitated initially? I mean, it's not like they just get, struck by lightning and then they stand up and dust themselves off and be like, "Oh, that was interesting."
Oh, yeah. It's a whole ordeal. But
yeah.
People have survived. Some of them are scarred. Some of them have healed completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say if someone were to survive, they may not be as coherent and as active as Bull, but they'd be back up on their feet in a couple of days.
Right. Right. So and this doctor does not look like he's a reputable doctor. He looks homeless.
The dirty doctor.
Yeah, the guy had 5 o'clock shadow from 3 days ago. He was wearing disheveled clothing. I mean, like the guy literally looked like he came out of a jail cell from like a trial an hour beforehand. I mean, like I wouldn't trust this doctor if I looked at him.
I'll tell you what, I trust him more in a hospital setting where he's wearing his medical garb. And
he's had a shave and probably a couple hours of sleep.
Yeah. Run a comb through his hair, his Einstein hair.
Exactly. And not to mention, I mean, just credibility out the window. Bull is talking and the doctor's like, yeah, he's fine. And he's like walking out the door. I mean, as a doctor, wouldn't you want to monitor the patient or at least bring the patient down to the hospital to run some tests, make sure that...
Check his vitals.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't even take his pulse. No. Or he didn't even, like, he could have been having some kind of weird heart murmurs or weird rhythms and whatnot. I mean, I'm not a medical professional, but I know that when you get hit with a couple of billion volts of electricity, that's going to mess up your internals a little bit.
This is serious.
Yeah. So... that doctor clearly, no credibility whatsoever. But Bull, in his smoky self, is talking to Harry, and basically Bull's like, "Hey, I want to get back to work," and Harry's like, "Are you serious? Don't you want to take some time, relax? Which any normal person might say, hey, let me go home and sleep this off or something, But no, Bull's like, hey, I just want to get right back to it. So Harry's like, okay, that's fine.
The lawyer, Dan Fielding, makes a couple of jokes also, some death jokes.
Oh, yeah. It's worth watching the episode just to see his delivery. It's so dry and it's so good.
Yeah.
John Larroquette's awesome.
I can't do it justice. So then Harry's like, all right, then if you say so, and he goes to slap him on the arm, and there's a visible spark when his hand touches Bull's arm.
Yeah.
Another thing, like how did they do that? I mean, it was nonchalant. It was well done. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Clever effects.
Yeah, maybe I'm drawing too much attention to something. So small, but yeah.
That's not a bad thing because, this is the first episode of Night Court that I've seen probably in 6, 7, 8 years.
Oh, wow.
I haven't watched an episode of Night Court in forever because it's been so hard to find. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said in the beginning, we just got this on iTunes last week. Yeah.
The effects in here are all practical effects too. That's there's nothing digital about this. They're not editing. Computers haven't been around that long yet.
Right. And actually that's a good segue to this next part because we're back in the courtroom now and I wrote this down because this is really funny. The judge is issuing a ruling, I guess, on a pimp that was brought in with a couple of hookers.
Yes.
And he's like, "I'm sorry, I had to shut down your squeals on wheels."
The pimp was.
He looked like Lionel Richie.
Like, you going Lionel Richie? I was going to go Rick James.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a better one.
He looked a little bit like a weak, puny Rick James.
Yeah, or like Prince who hasn't shaved.
Yeah, or and had let his hair go.
Right. But no more squeals on wheels.
The hose looked pretty run down also.
Yeah, so it's probably better for everybody involved.
Shut this operation down.
No more squeals on wheels.
They were rode hard and put up wet.
Loose women. So okay, I got to bring this up because this is a major point of contention for me.
Okay.
So Mac is learning his way around the computer, and it seems like he's getting a little more comfortable, not as phobic of the, not as fearful of the computer.
He's got a huge manual next to him.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that detail. That's interesting.
Yeah, he was flipping through it, and.
So and then at that point the judge says, hey, do you have the next case for me, or have you logged this case? And then Mac goes, no, but I just registered at Bloomingdale's. Like, okay, was there an internet in 1987? Were there websites? Could you sign up? Could you buy shit online in 1987? I don't think so.
I'd say yes to the internet. There was definitely internet at this time.
Yeah.
However,
here's what I found on the web for it. Like to wear the website. It's good. Just signed up. Goodbye shit. Have a look.
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri, shut up.
All right. So
Apparently, Siri wanted to get involved in our podcast. We're totally leaving that in, by the way.
All right. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So getting back to this.
internet, yes. Websites, definitely not Bloomingdale's. Definitely not Bloomingdale websites.
No, but I mean, they didn't have like what was it, Web 2.0, where you could like log into sites and you could have accounts and everything.
Yeah, at this point it was just
But that
file
was like-
sharing between colleges.
And that was like mid 90s when Web 2.0 came out.
yeah. This is just file sharing between MIT and what's the
And probably like UCLA or something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, I would love to really learn about the history of the internet, because it's such a part of our lives nowadays. But
Yeah.
it certainly was not in its full swing in any way, shape, or form in 1987.
definitely not Bloomingdale's.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I find even funnier, though, was that somebody wrote that and somebody put that as his line. You know, how would they have known that that's what the future was going to be? Or how did they know to make that relevant?
Very forward-thinking writers' room, the Night Court.
Yeah.
Night Court writers.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like the people in Star Trek developing...
I was just going to go
you
there.
know, developing, small touchscreen devices or talking computers or
Cell
stuff like
phones.
that. You know, very forward-thinking writing department. You're totally on the money with that. And then moving forward, Mac also he found a way to tune into air traffic control. Now,
Yes.
this is 2015. We're obviously significantly more in the future than 1987. The most I could do with air traffic control is listen to it on like live ATC, or I could go to like Plane Finder and look at all the planes that are in the air. I could never get to a place where I could do any kind of control or like contribute towards air traffic control. But
He's patched into what's the New York airport?
well, there's LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. So
Yeah.
there's three of them. But he was apparently patched in remotely and able to control things, which we'll find out a little later. I mean, not only was Mac tapped into the internet, he was like hacking
He's
probably.
a savant.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it.
Yeah, dropping some crazy hacks with all the things he was doing. But yeah, I have a point of contention with that.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you with that.
Yeah.
All of those are valid points,
Yeah.
especially the Bloomingdale's and the air traffic control deal. But this, those jokes aside, from there though, we move to the camera moves over to Dan Fielding sitting at the table, and some woman comes around with a shoebox saying, "Hey, this woman that is going to just had a baby, so we're collecting for her." And he looks at her and he's like, "Do I know her?" She's like,
No.
"I don't know."
He says, "Is it mine?"
Oh, is it mine? Yes. I love the reaction because she kind of guilts him, but he just throws it right back at her and just gives her a quarter. So as she collects this quarter from him, she's walking away. And then Bull comes over and says, "Oh, hey, miss, I heard you were collecting for this woman's baby. Here's all of my cash, and it's $50. And she's like, "Oh, this is amazing. You don't even know this woman. Why are you being so generous?" And he's like, "Well, because God told me to be generous. So I'm going to be generous." So he gives her the money, and she walks away. And everybody's like, "Oh, that's a good deed, boy. Yeah, you were dying, or you were dead, and now you're back alive, and you appreciate life. Oh, yeah, it makes sense, Bull."
Yeah, but then moments later, we see him giving his car away to some random woman in the jury there, or in the courtroom.
It's the camera shot that's after the next one. So they go over to Harry, who makes some flippant joke, and then they go back to Bull, and he's giving his title and his car keys to some random woman.
And of course, he was just happened to be carrying his car registration with him.
Yeah, because that's a thing. You just carry your registration around.
Hold
with
on,
you.
let me get it in my wallet. I'm going to read my registration for my...
Right.
Yeah.
So they ask him why. Again, they press him a little more on why, and he comes out with "Well, I was dead, and when I came to, God told me that I was not finished with my work, and that I should give."
Now, this is right after the commercial break.
No, this is right before the commercial break.
Okay.
So he says, "No, God says I have more work to do. I'm to give away all of my worldly possessions." Then they have the commercial break title card. Now, since we're streaming this, no commercial break.
Right.
They just throw in the title card night court in front of the courthouse.
Right. And then, so now we're back after the commercial break, and we're in the judge's chambers, and everybody kind of wants to get a little more of a feel for what it really happened and kind of find out from Bull what his experience was. And I have another point of contention here. So,
Lay it on me.
Bull is sitting down on the couch, or Judge is sitting down on the couch, and Bull sits down, or they sit down next to each other, and the judge is looking at Bull, and it looks like they're literally about to start making out. They were sitting, the way that Harry was looking at Bull,
right?
I was waiting for him to go, you know, he looked like he was about to start making out with Bull.
It's funny you bring that up, because earlier in the episode, when Mac is afraid of the computer, Harry goes up to him, puts his arm around him, and puts his face very, very close to Mac. And it's like, oh, technology is the way of the future. Where we've got to embrace this and move forward. And they are inches apart.
They're like
apart.
Ballroom dancing.
Yeah,
You know,
they're that.
and his Harry's hand is on Mac's hand, bringing it together to the computer. I mean, talk about hands-on.
Harry is a very up-close and personal
Very affectionate.
guy. Very, very affectionate. That's one of his things that he does. I noticed that most of the characters that he interacts with, he gets some kind of physical connection with them.
Right.
Maybe jumping ahead, but he when he's consoling Bull, he wraps his arms around him and gives him the shoulder rub and the slap on the arm. He's a very, very physical person.
Yeah, very affectionate. And, you know, I do that to a degree, but I would probably be uncomfortable with that much physical attention.
There are people that I know who are maybe not that intense as Harry is, but they are physical people. And once I accept that as like an affectation of that person, then I'm more accepting of it. But, you know, if I don't know you, don't touch me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Don't touch me, bro. One thing before we move on.
Yeah.
It was at this point, and this is the second time that we're in the judge's chambers. The second time.
Right.
And there was this time that I looked around the office and I noticed various artifacts on the bookshelves. There was a pair of boxing gloves. There was several different weird-looking statues, but one thing that stood out to me was the taxidermied armadillo.
I didn't see that.
There's a stuffed armadillo on his bookshelf in between the tomes of law books.
Yeah,
it was really interesting. After I picked that out, or I noticed the red boxing gloves first because they were bright red. But after
Right.
I saw those, I'm like, what else does he have around here?
Yeah.
And I looked around. He's got like weird little like statuettes and all kinds of crazy things around the office. And
Yeah.
it was really interesting.
yeah. So at this point, Max shows up,
My favorite part.
and he's like, "Hey, I've gotten rid of all that air traffic control mumbo jumbo that was on my computer. I just wiped it right off the screen." And right at that moment,
There are airplane wings, I'd say about the size of a 747, that go past the window.
right? So you see a landing gear just fly right past the window,
Right past the window.
and blinking lights and the whole deal. And
Huge. Huge. So Dan Fielding, shocked as anyone would be, jumps up onto the ledge of the window and looks out there.
and he's in this like crouched pose, which it looks so unnatural for a man to run up to a window and crouch up like that. I mean, I would think that you'd run up and maybe like lean up against the glass or whatever, but he literally leaped onto the seat, the little like chair, the seat that was right at the window there. He leapt up there and was crouched, almost willing to like pounce out the window or something. It was such a weird sequence.
Listen, I can't blame the guy. If I saw that, I likely would have reacted one of two ways: the exact same way, or I would have ran away.
Yeah, but you don't strike me as someone that would have done like a leap onto the thing and then be like crouched like you were ready
Like
to
Gollum.
pounce. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, that was weird.
The other thing is looking out the windows, because this is the office, and out the window you can clearly see another building.
Yeah.
So this is two buildings that are next to each other, about maybe about a block apart,
Not even.
not like a street.
Yeah, or I mean, I don't know. I was going to say more like 25, 30 feet apart.
Oh, yeah. So you've got, and this is a pre-9/11 world.
Right.
You've got a large aircraft flying between buildings.
With its landing gear down.
After which, it passes by, and Dan kind of calms himself down. No one else reacts to it. No one else reacts to it.
It's like he was the only one that saw it.
Everybody saw
Right,
it.
but nobody
saw it.
reacted to it.
Why?
I don't know.
Mac comes in like, oh, hey, yeah, I got rid of the air traffic control thing, and a plane flies between buildings. Everyone's like, all right, anyway, Bull, so you're giving away your whole fortune to God?
And Bull just doesn't have he wants nothing to do with anyone that has anything to say to the contrary.
Yeah.
He's just like, yep, that's what I'm doing. And of course, everyone else is like, they're dumbfounded by this, but you could tell they're kind of thinking this over. Like, how could this have really happened? And they're kind of analyzing the situation, which, I mean, I would definitely be in that same mindset, just thinking about how the hell could this have happened. I mean, really, yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they were asking him questions and trying to be understanding so they can understand, but the way he was putting it, it was as believable as something like that.
Right.
It really is. I wanted to also point out the actress Marky Post, the other lawyer, Christine Sullivan.
Right.
In this scene, she never looked more like David Bowie than in this scene. With her smart gray suit and her rockin' mullet.
Oh, I always found that her hair looked like she had put her finger in a light socket, or maybe she got struck by lightning.
It was spiky on the top and the sides and just long and flowing in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Glorious.
Oh, yeah. Classic 80s right there. So we see Harry and Christine walking down the hall, and they see Roz, and they said, oh, how's Bull doing today? And she says, oh, he's doing better, except he had a rough night with his polyester
underwear.
underwear.
Now, is it the same day?
No, I think
This is
it's
the next day.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to assume it's the next day, because now there's a big line of people waiting to get into the cafeteria. Now,
oh, and Harry's not in his robes. He's dressed in his suit,
correct.
Suit and tie.
Yeah, he's dressed like a magician.
Yes.
Yeah. But he is. They're all wondering why are there so many people here waiting to get into the cafeteria. And they find out that Bull is basically sitting with a stack of money, just giving it away.
Big old stack of cash.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just robbed a bank stack of cash.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there dishing it out. And, no one can stop him. He's just doing it, of his own free will.
Well, how is he doing it? How does he have it set up?
They didn't really go too far into this, but he gave one guy $200.
He's got pick a number, and it was here's some tickets, get your ticket, and that's the order that you come up, and then I'll give you what you need.
Right, but I mean, if someone's giving away free money and then they say, how much do you want? It's like,
I want all of it. If you're going to give away, if you're giving it away, I'll take as much as you'll allow me to have.
Right. So assuming he was either giving everybody $200 or he gave that one guy $200, and then, the Dan Fielding was the next person in line, which you find out is just more of him being smarmy.
His second time or third time through the line.
Right.
Also, if I would make up some sob story to get as much money as I can. I mean,
if someone was giving it away like that.
If someone was giving it away like that,
right.
Of course.
Right. So anyway, all the gang sits down at a nearby table, and they're trying to figure this out. They're trying to say, okay, there's got to be some kind of explanation as to why Bull thinks he has to do this. And they come up. Then Art comes in again, and they kind of grill him about the details of what happened outside on the roof, and come to find out that I forgot to write down the specific lines, but there were specific lines that Harry interpreted as Bull basically having just misheard.
Yeah, and
You know,
this
something-
was a real stretch for me.
Yeah, something like the janitor was saying, "I'll shout when it reaches 11." I guess maybe the 11th floor or something. And Bull thought, "You'll have treasures in heaven," or something to that effect. So Bull misheard what he was saying over the walkie, and he basically took that as, you know, give away his worldly possessions and so forth.
He heard it over the walkie-talkie, and I can't imagine hearing it over the walkie-talkie would be that loud.
After just having been struck by lightning.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
incoherent at the same time. So,
Yeah.
you know, they pretty much rule out that Bull was recovering from being struck by lightning and whatnot.
The exact quotes and how Harry figured... I get that Bull misunderstood,
Right.
misheard it and misunderstood. However, how Harry and the rest figure it out is just a stretch of the imagination. I like how...
So, you know what? You got to watch the episode to really see the exchange.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, they make it work.
They do.
I just don't like how they made it work.
Yeah. And then Bull kind of comes to that rough realization that he's now lost quite a bit of money.
Which was very physical.
And we figured out, and Bull indicates that he lost $27,516.37. Which I wrote down that number for a reason. So $27,516.37.
Yes, I want to talk about that when we get to it.
And so he's like, okay, well, you know, this sucks. And he basically walks out of the room and makes a really, really loud noise. And then
He roars.
Yeah. That's what bulls do, right?
Yeah.
And then he's in the courtroom kind of by himself in the dark, and he's just kind of he's got his head in his hands and just kind of, you know, thinking about life and thinking about just what really happened. And then this old guy randomly walks into the courtroom, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm looking for the guy that's giving away free money." And Bull's like, "Oh, he's gone," and blah, blah, blah. And this guy tells him a little sob story about how he's trying to go to see his son or something, and Bull gives him the last $100 that he had.
I get it. I get it. The guy,
Yeah.
you've given away all your money except for that last 100. What's
Yeah.
the last 100? Especially with the guy.
'Cause-
What if he is bullshitting you? Well,
I mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, when you have nothing, what's $100 going to get you?
really, yeah.
You know?
I would have done the same in Bull's
I would have too.
situation. Yeah.
I would have too, because the guy was just trying to get down to see his kid, and you know, I totally get that.
To me,
So,
it was authentic enough because he came down. He's like, "Where's the guy that's giving away money? Oh, he's not here. Well, why do you need it?" So
Yeah.
the guy was being honest because he didn't know Bull was the guy giving away the money.
right, and I kind of thought that was really a genuine side of Bull that we were seeing, because it wasn't Bull that got struck by lightning and talked
Yeah.
to God and was back from the dead. It was Bull doing the right thing, and Bull like having a heart.
Yeah.
You know, and that was really nice. And then now we see Harry come in, and Harry's like, "Oh, it's a tough act to it's a tough habit to break."
Yeah.
You know, giving things away, and they have a really nice, warm, heartfelt exchange. And
It was lovely.
it really was,
really
and like
nice.
that. I've never seen an episode of Night Court that was really that touching, because I just remember Night Court having all that, you know, different humor that we were talking about before, some sarcasm, slapstick, silly stuff. But, you know, I don't often remember scenes of Night Court with really heartwarming and touching
Yeah.
parts. You know, so I really liked that. Harry and Bull have this really nice chat. And then Harry leaves, and Bull kind of has a little monologue, and it's almost like he's praying.
No, he is praying.
Well, yeah, and you know, kind of in his own way. And I kind of thought about Bull is a lot like Rose from the Golden Girls.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he comes off as being a doofus, and he comes off as kind of overly naive, but he has a really good heart.
Yeah.
You know, and you see that here, and you can kind of tell it in other episodes, because I know that there have been times where Bull is kind of questioned or Bull is backed in a corner, and he's a man of conscience. He's a guy that knows the right thing and knows what knows what the right thing to do is, but you know, can still kind of come off as being a little naive or being kind of
Oafish, kind of goofy, and yeah.
Yeah. But then after this happens, after this whole exchange, this little nerdy guy comes busting into the courtroom, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm from the city controller, and offering to kind of do a quick on-the-spot settlement to make sure that Bull doesn't sue the city because he did get hurt on city property and
Doing city work.
right, and the guy's like, well, the city is ready to give you a settlement of $25,000 if you sign this paper, saying you're not going to sue us in the future. And then
$25,000.
yeah, and then the guy goes, okay, 27.5, and Bull's like, where do I sign? And he signs it, which basically means that he was only out $16.37.
What do you?
So when he gave everything
Yes.
away, he gave away $27,516.37. He was given back $27,500.
I disagree that he was out by that much. The car.
But that could have been factored into the value.
It was not factored in the value.
It wasn't?
It was no, and he brought out his entire life savings, and he gave that figure of 27 blah blah blah.
But we don't
36
know if the 27 also included the car. We don't know that. We don't know if the 27 was only his life savings, or if because he asked him, how much did you give away? He said, I gave away 27,516.
my entire life savings.
But we don't know if the car. Okay, I mean, this is semantics.
It is semantics, but now you have to buy a new car.
True. Okay,
You got to buy a new car.
So he's out a little. So he's still out a car.
Yeah. So regardless,
But then again, he lives in New York. I mean, New York's got one of the most expansive subway systems in the country. So why does he need a car?
yeah. Well, does he live in New York, or does he commute to New York?
That I don't know. I'd have to.
We'd have to watch more episodes.
We would, yeah.
Yeah.
But I wrote kind of my last note here is this is feel good funny. This is. I love when there's episodes where kind of at the end you feel good after watching it, or you just have that warm and fuzzy feeling, but it was still 22 minutes of television that was hilarious and heartwarming at the same time.
You like your comedy with a message.
Yeah, like just a little something special, a little extra something in the sauce,
Yeah.
And that's really about it for that particular episode of Night Court, and definitely one I really enjoyed watching, and I'm looking forward to watching more Night Court.
Yeah, I am definitely going to watch more episodes.
Yeah, I want to get my hands on more episodes of Night Court, and I hope that we can revisit Night Court down the line, because it's I think it's one of those shows that's kind of underrated. It's kind of fallen off the side of the planet. It's sort of fallen off the face of the earth a little bit, because especially because it hasn't been readily available to stream online or to get. But now that it's on iTunes, I hope that it gets some attention, because it was a great show.
Get a little resurgence in there.
Yeah.
I've heard people mention it in some of their favorite TV shows.
Right.
But it's how many seasons did it run?
9 seasons.
Not so. I mean, come on.
Frasier ran for 11 seasons.
Right.
So I mean, it ran for quite a while.
Yeah.
Unlike things like Airwolf and Knight Rider, which were 3 and 4 seasons respectively, 4 and 3 seasons respectively.
Yeah.
But just a great show, really a great show.
Yeah. This episode in particular, let's do our highlights, lowlights.
Okay, that sounds good.
What was your favorite part of this episode?
Now, this episode specifically.
This episode. This is the one we just watched.
The reason I say that is because I'm going to do a 2-parter actually.
Okay.
The theme song is my automatic high point.
It's a really good theme song.
The first part is just the theme song here. My second high point, I have to say the second high point of this episode was, I don't know that it's specific to this episode, but I just really like the way that Judge Harry Stone handles himself, in a courtroom, because I am someone who does not enjoy being serious. And I have to be serious for my job, and I have to be serious in, professional situations, but I really don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy being serious. I don't enjoy wearing formal clothes and just things that are serious and solemn, and I hate that stuff. I would rather things be casual and laid back and just really easygoing. And if for whatever reason, if I had to go into a courtroom, I would want to stand in front of a judge like him, someone that can still deliver the letter of the law and be down to earth and amiable, but not stuffy and serious and in a way negative.
Yeah.
So that's my high point of this.
The theme song.
Squeals on wheels. I mean, really.
My personal high point was the scene in The Office. You know what I'm talking about.
The jet plane.
The jet plane flying between the buildings.
I remember you were like, "Stop it! Stop
Yep,
it!" Because
yep.
you were writing up a storm during that part.
That whole scene, it was really well done to me because of me noticing the props and the things that the decor in the office,
Right.
But also just the effects, how they did it. It was just probably just a simple thing. They're just cardboard cutouts of some wheels, but it was really well done. Mark Robinson's delivery of how he fixed the computer issue,
Yeah.
the entrance of the plane, Dan Fielding's reaction to it,
Just everything timed beautifully.
and then everybody disregarding the disaster that was just averted.
Right.
So for me, that was my high point.
Okay. And how about your low point?
My low point was the connecting of the dots at the end of the episode where they brought up Art and how Bull misunderstood what Art had said, because it was just like a throwaway line that they just took and stretched out, and I get it. I understand the logic. They laid it out for me. How could I not follow it? But it was a little too much for me.
Yeah, I could see that. I can agree with that. I would have to say that my low point of the episode was Harry's handiness with just putting his hands all over Bull.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I get that it was in a sense of consoling him and a sense of trying to make him feel better, but I mean, I don't know. Just me personally, I don't think that much touching is appropriate.
I'm with you on the touching thing. We talked about this.
Because I mean, I am a firm believer in trying to make people feel better and making people be, feel more comfortable. But like, I would say like a hand on a shoulder, or like when he did the little back rub thing, the two hands on the shoulders, like just a little bit of that kind of thing. That's appropriate. But I mean, like, he had his hands all over Bull's head.
He did,
in a really strange way.
He gave him like a little scalp massage.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? That
was a little weird.
That to me, I could have gone without that.
It's interesting to me that
I get why, but I could have gone without it. But go ahead.
It's interesting to me that your highlight and your low light is Harry Stone.
Yes. It's two different sides of the same character.
Yeah. That's interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, we're interesting people.
We all of us are all interesting in our own
I love
way.
that I just said we're interesting people, as in I'm implying that I have multiple personalities living within my brain.
You do.
We are all interesting people inside my head.
I wanna talk about something here.
Okay.
Who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight?
Good question.
Let's
fighting?
Let's pick a couple characters. One of the main characters that was the focal point of this episode, Bull.
Okay.
Let's pick Bull out. Who would you pit against Bull in a fight? And let's kind of talk about this and expand on it.
Well, okay. I would probably say Bull. I'd like to see the two bailiffs fight.
Bull versus Roz.
Bull versus Roz.
So the scenario is Bull in his full bailiff gear. They don't carry guns there, do they?
No. I think they might have sticks.
They might have sticks. Okay, so they're full
Billy clubs.
bailiff gear, and what would you say an appropriate venue would be?
The courtroom.
The courtroom.
The courtroom with like the furniture removed, so they just have the seats where the audience can watch, but like the plaintiff and the defendant tables are removed and the bench is there and everything. I would actually put my money on Roz.
You would put your money on Roz.
I would, because I think she would be, because I mean, she's a little bit, she's not as physically fit as Bull, and Bull is taller and more and stronger. But I have a feeling she's more of a strategist,
scrappy, even.
Yeah, but I would put my money on her because I think she would outsmart Bull.
Really? Well,
yep.
Yeah. I can see maybe the outsmarting. If they both have sticks, I could see Bull trying to rely more on his own strength, his physical strength than Roz would. I would posit that Roz would use her own stick and probably use the railings or the judge's bench to her advantage. But my money's going on Bull. I'm going on Bull on this one. And during the fight, the Night Court theme song would be playing. The Night Court theme song would be playing over.
Yes, not some techno remix of it.
No, that would be awful.
No Boots and Cats remix. No Boots and Cats remix of the Night Court theme song.
Dun, 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 dun. So that's going to do it for us for this episode. We've said everything that we're going to say.
Have we?
We have said everything that we need to say.
Well, we can't forget something like the website.
Oh, yes. Hit us up on Twitter at tunein_next week, and also on our Tumblr page at tunein-nextweek.tumblr.com.
That's right. And just like the name implies, as you should do every week, tune in next week. And we'll see you then. Yeah.
Out. That's it.